should be, right?
That's a great question. Yes, deafhood and deaf culture are absolutely related. The person who coined the term deafhood is Dr. Patty Ladd. His book is entitled Understanding Deaf Culture: In Search of Deafhood. In his book, he discusses his research. He analyzed and studied deaf history, ASL, sign languages all over the world. He's been doing this work from the 60s all through the 80s. He studied language, and when he came across culture, he tried to push it aside. He just wanted to study language, but it's impossible. Language and culture are unequivocally related. So what do we know about deaf culture? Well, an outsider might say, oh, I know deaf people use TTY. They all hang out together. I know deaf people tend to be direct and insult each other. I know that. Is that deaf culture? Is that the perspective of us? Why is there a little bit of a conflict here in terms of perspectives? Well, when we focus in on the different dimensions of perspective, there's a little bit of an explanation of what deaf culture means. Yes, we have our language, but we've studied that already. We know what our language is composed of. We need more analyzations, though. Into our culture. We have books about our history that have analyzed our history, but Patty Ladd brings up the topic in a more positive light. He has a more beneficial approach to understanding deaf culture and how he analyzes it, how he studies, and what he records. He and scientists all over study deaf culture in this positive light. They study cultures that have been oppressed. That's called colonialism, when one culture takes over another culture. He studies if the conquered culture persists in its ways, or if it changes, or if it crumples, and what happens to the other culture that has conquered. And we take what we know, and Dr. Patty Ladd applies it to deaf culture. He says, from here on out, we must study deaf culture in the light of deafhood. Now, that's not verbatim, but that's the gist of his idea.
Okay.